Looking at the turkey with the gravy has got to get you hyped. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, everybody. Shay Cornett, Peter Schrager, Chris Mad Dog Russo.
I can't stand a stupid holiday, but go ahead.
Typical situation the day before a holiday. And there's Stephen A. looking fly in his Miami outfit. Look, he's ready. He's got the Miami music going on a Wednesday. Like, people are ready for the cold now, Stephen A. Okay, with the music. We're ready for the cold around here.
Are they?
Yes.
Are they? I don't know if that's the truth. I mean, I know that you have to surrender to it because you might be limited to where you could go because of obligations, et cetera, et cetera. But I believe anybody that got the opportunity to be in the places that I'm in, they would take that up.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm ready for the snow. Maybe it's just my cold blood. Kimberly Martin's going to join us later on, along with special guest Paul Hyman. In the meantime, yes, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and we have 3 meaningful football games. And right around when that turkey is going to be served, so will 2 great quarterbacks going head-to-head when the Chiefs face off with the Cowboys. Dallas has won 2 in a row. They're clinging to their playoff hopes. Chiefs are in need of stacking wins, and they hope to do that on Thursday afternoon. Here is what's going to happen. Okay, take a listen.
We got to win every game at this point. And the Philly game doesn't mean anything right now. Nothing that's happened up to this point really means anything other than it's put us in the position to be must-win games. And so, as I said, we're not going to necessarily just go out there and do that on Thursday. That's through the week. And just the way that we prepare, the way that we're communicating, the way that we're taking the necessary steps to get our bodies right and to go out and play our best game on a short week.
We're grinding in here right now and getting the whole game plan in and making sure everybody's prepared and ready to go. But I think we're excited to get to go out there and play on Thanksgiving against a really good football team and the whole world watching.
All right, so Mahomes leads the league with just over 270 passing yards per game. Dak Prescott right behind him, 267 yards a game. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, this will be the 3rd ever Thanksgiving Day game between the top 2 players in passing yards per game. The others were in the 1950s. Doggy maybe remembers that. I don't know if the rest of us
Bobby
do.
Lane.
There you go. There you go. When it comes down to it, though, which quarterback needs to have the better game? Is it Mahomes or is it Dak Prescott? What do you think, Schrager?
You know, I spoke with the NFL's head of broadcasting yesterday, Ani Bose, and Ani told me that the #1 rated regular season game of all time was the Giants and Cowboys a few years ago on Thanksgiving, and 42 million Americans watched. They're expecting 50 million people will be watching this game. The stakes are so high because both seasons are on the line. I have a long history with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in big games. This is just another game for them. They need this to stay in the playoff hunt, but when you talk about their history together, this is an anecdote, this is a footnote, this is something that's, 20th in their all-time games. Dak Prescott and Brian Schottenheimer, this might be the biggest game of their lives right now. And I know Dak has played in playoffs, but when you're talking about a team whose season was all but done and dusted after that Monday night loss to Arizona, Prescott needs to step up, and Dak Prescott needs to answer the call. He's done it the last 2 weeks. Raiders game coming off what was one of the all-time tragedies that this troop will go through, a real-life situation with Marshawn Nealon in which they came back and responded by looking like a team that couldn't be stopped against a defense that hasn't stopped anyone. And then last week, down 21 points, finding a way and not wavering, not going into the corner. They found a way to respond and get 24 points and beat the Eagles in what was Dak's biggest regular season win, I think, of his career. Now you're talking 50 million people watching. America's team, the Cowboys, versus the world's team, the Chiefs. Mahomes and Andy Reid staring at you in the barrel of a gun. And then you've got here Dak Prescott. I believe it's on Dak. We did a top 10 list on this very network before the season started. And Stephen A., you were in on all these shows. We dissected that top 10 list. It was Jeremy Fowler, a reporter here at ESPN, pulled 50 different decision makers, and they made a top 10 quarterbacks list in the league. Dak Prescott wasn't included on the list and didn't even get mentioned on these shows. Dak Prescott, the moment is yours. 50 million people watching, go on Thanksgiving Day.
Okay, so Dak Prescott for Schrager. What do you think,
Shay, move out the way, because I need to make sure I got an angle right at Peter Schrager here right now. I mean, what the hell was that? You sounded like you were in a therapy session. You sounded like you lost your best friend and you're sitting down with a therapist and you're talking to, this is America, there's 50 million plus people watching a football game, right? Listen, what the hell was that? Here's the deal. Patrick Mahomes is the answer to this question. And I'm going to tell you why he's the answer to this question. Because as we look at the Dallas Cowboys ascending, of course, Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, their level of production is contingent upon Dak Prescott. We understand that. But we also see Quentin Williams balling. We also see the changes that have taken place in their defense since Williams, since Logan Wilson, since Overshown has come back. We've seen the Dallas Cowboys elevating collectively. And we deduced even a couple of days ago, and I think you were a part of that show. We said they got about 6 games left. They better go 5-1. I think this is the one loss. Then they're going to run the table and win the next 5. They got to go 5-1. But that's the conclusion that we came to. When we look at the Kansas City Chiefs, what are we looking at? You're in 3rd place. You got 2 teams against you in your own division, in the Chargers and the Broncos. You got 2 teams, all right, with, what are we talking about here? Jacksonville and the Indianapolis Colts. And, oh, by the way, the Texans are on the come up. We understand the Ravens or the Steelers. One of them going to win the division. The other's going to go home for the postseason. And then you've got New England and Buffalo in the AFC East. Look at Patrick Mahomes over the last 3 days. They're 1-2 in the month of November, okay? In the month of November, they're 1-2. They were 3-1 in the month of October, okay? He was averaging over 29 points per game in October. In November, it's 24. His completion percentage was 73 in October. It's 58 in November, okay? TD passes, he had 10. This month, he's got 1. Okay, interceptions, same as 3 in both months. And then you got a passer rating that went from 112 last month to 72. He hasn't looked great. And so when we look at it from that standpoint, there is no question that Patrick Mahomes is the answer to this question, because regardless of their history and being associated with Super Bowl appearances and AFC championship games and all of this other stuff, the reality is that Patrick Mahomes has not looked good. And the chances of Kansas City winning on Thanksgiving in front of 50 million plus people with their playoff lives on the line in all likelihood is slim to none if that brother can't give you something. Because their defense, even though it's good, bottom line is you still need all the help you can get. You don't have a running game. You ain't running a damn football. Travis Kelce, we love him, but he ain't what he used to be. Rashee Rice has been a stud, but you need help from Xavier Worthy and the rest of the crew. Dak Prescott has shown, and the Cowboys have shown over the last few weeks, they got more help right now. They got more cats producing more or providing more help. Patrick Mahomes, not necessarily so. A lot is riding on him tomorrow. He's the answer to this question.
I hate the question. Sammy, Tayuchi, do a better job, will you please? They both need to play well for their teams to win, because if Prescott doesn't play well, Dallas is going to struggle. And if Mahomes doesn't play well, they're going to struggle. This is a very tricky game to call, because let's face it, the Chiefs were not that great last week against Indianapolis. I mean, they were not great in the game. Indianapolis' offense and Daniel Jones in the second half was atrocious. And the Chiefs were very sloppy. A lot of long drives resulting in field goals. Didn't put the ball in the end zone. They were not great. And Dallas was down 21-0. And the Eagles collapsed offensively, and they fumbled twice and takes a sack on 3rd and 3 and everything else. So when you get right down to it, at certain times last week, both QBs were not great in the game. Now, one thing, CeeDee Lamb, catch the ball. Will you please? I've had enough of CeeDee Lamb being up there on his Jerry Rice level. He killed him in the first game against Philadelphia on the Thursday night. Catch the football. All right. First off, make the team meetings and catch the. What do you have? 5 drops last week? Drove me crazy. And I bet Dallas.
Career high in drops.
So you got it. What happened?
Career high.
I needed it. But listen, I think if I had a pick, I'll go with Steve, because I think the Chiefs are more dependent on a big game out of Mahomes than the Cowboys necessarily would be out of a big game out of Prescott. But I think it's basically even, because if either one of these QBs has an off day, this game is so tight, and the offense is so much important with the 2 quarterbacks that I don't know if they can overcome it. So generally, the question's terrible, but generally speaking,